We are back with UFC 296, Edwards versus Covington results. I mean, what a card. It really lived up to the hype besides, the main event. We'll talk about that later on, but first let's start with the first fight. I will admit I did miss the first fight. My food was taking forever to order. I see that we have a round 2 knockout, standing TKO. Pretty impressive by Shamil. Maybe we'll see him going forward. But first fight that I saw of the night was Andre Fiel versus Lucas Almeida. I mean, Andre, he looked fluid. He really did. Lucas, he looked stiff throughout the fight. But Andre, he was slick. He was moving throughout the fight. I didn't last long, but Andre Fiel got him, stiffed him. It was a really good punch, and he did have a motive going into that fight. His dog did pass away a week prior to the fight, so you know, fight is probably for his lost dog. So let's go, Andre. Nice W. Next up, we had Tagir versus Cody Durden or Tyler Durden. This was a really good fight. I mean, he was nonstop wrestling Durden. But Durden, he had good submission defense, good takedown defense. He tried his best, but it wasn't enough. Tagir, he did pretty good job wrestling, submitting. He got stopped a few times, but he did pretty good job. Then next up we had Lipsky versus Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill tried to stand up with Lipsky. That didn't work out. O'Neill's a wrestler, and she didn't even try to wrestle with her. It ended up Lipsky got Casey O'Neill in an arm bar. That was a disgusting arm bar. I'm shocked that her elbow didn't snap in half or a ligament or something. That was pretty nasty. Next up, Cody Garbrandt with a vicious knockout in round one. He looks back. Champ Cody Garbrandt looks back. He looked beautiful. Brian here, he didn't really do much, but Cody looked beautiful. Next up, fight of the night: Irene Aldana versus Carol Hosa. Sorry. I mean, Fight of the night. Those leg kicks from Rosa were dangerous towards Aldana. As a boxer, obviously your stance will be prone to leg kicks, and Aldana's fortunate that most of those leg kicks were towards the thigh, so obviously you can take more. There's more meat on her thigh, but if those kicks were towards her calf, probably be a different story, and Rosa would probably have the W. But Irene Aldana, she has that dog in her. She really does. Great boxer, boxed all 15 minutes. It was beautiful work by her. Next up, we had Alonzo Menfield versus Dustin Jacoby. Dustin did look like he was going to go into round two and round three doing what he did in round one. He looked good in round one. But the thing about Menfield, he has that man strength. One punch can change it for Menfield, and that's what happened. He dropped Dustin at least two times, I'm pretty sure. It was a really good fight to cap off the prelims. Starting off the main event, I mean, Josh Emmett. First punch thrown was a knockout. He stiffed him. Bryce Mitchell, very scary knockout. He was seizuring on the ground. He couldn't walk. Very, very scary. Props to both men in taking the fight. Short notice, new opponent for Josh Emmett. But Josh Emmett, he's back. Rough loss against Ilya. Josh Emmett, he's looking to have a better 2024 than 2023. A really rough 2023, but he's starting off his new year pretty well with that very scary knockout. Next up, we have Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Really, he destroyed the boat that Tony Ferguson was trying to carry. Paddy had a beautiful round one. I'm shocked he didn't finish him. I mean, that's where he's starting to think a top 15 lightweight would probably finish in that scenario, but he did get the job done. Round three, he was gassed. We all knew it. He was just laying on Tony round three. I mean, he had to do what he had to do to secure that victory, and in the end, unanimous 30-27 for Petty the Betty Pimblett. I mean, for Tony, 7 fight losing streak. I mean, how much lower can you go to fight these people? I mean, yes, his first few losses were against top 10, top 15 people, but now, I mean, you really got to look at Tony, man. Longest losing streak in the UFC history. I mean, you really got to look at him like, what fight is there left for him to do? I mean, I don't know. Next up, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, Shavkat is the real deal. He had a torn ligament in his leg. I heard going to the fight. I mean, he didn't want to have surgery so he could fight in this fight. I mean, Shavkat is the real deal. Wonder Boy, he did stuff a takedown at first. I mean, he had really good balance. Shavkat got his leg a few times, putting it up in the air, and Wonder Boy did have good defense. But in the end, with just a few seconds left, that Shavkat rear naked choke was tight. It was so tight. Steven Wonderboy Thompson couldn't last another 4 seconds in the octagon. I mean, it really was beautiful. Shavkat, I believe, should be in front over Bilal. Shavkat, he 18 wins, 18 finishes, 10 subs, 8 knockouts. I mean, very impressive. Next up, the co-main event, Flyweight Championship. Pantoja versus Brandon Raw Dog Royval. I mean, Pantoja, I think, will be here for a while. Dominant champ. He really is dominant. I mean, beautiful ground game. He didn't lay on Brandon Royval, but he just worked him on the ground for the first 4 rounds. And he did go out really quick, which he was gassed in the fifth round, but it really didn't matter. He was up 4-0. I mean, Pantoja, he's really he will be a force in flyweight. Brandon Royval, I feel like he came out too not like him. Usually he's unpredictable. He does a lot of spinning stuff, but he didn't do any of it. And in the fifth round, he looked more like him, but obviously it was too late. Next up, we have the depressing, the just disappointing main event. I mean, Leon Edwards versus Colby Chaos Covington. I mean, Colby just looked like not him until the fifth round, and yet I feel like Leon let him win the fifth round. I mean, Leon out wrestled Colby Covington. I mean, Leon just pieced him apart the first 4 rounds. Like, I really don't understand what Colby was doing. He was playing in Leon's hands like the full fight. And how do you get out wrestled by Leon Edwards? Multiple submission attempts, multiple times he could have been submitted. I mean, Colby does have to go back to the drawing board. He called out Wonderboy Thompson. It just doesn't make sense. Wonderboy's probably ranked 7, 8 after this. I mean, and you want to call out a loser who just lost? I think he just wants to call out someone else that's old just like him. And honestly, I don't know if Kobe wins that. Wonder Boy still looks good. Dangerous striker. Very good with takedown defense as well. I mean, I guess that's enough about Kobe and what he's going to do. But Leon, let's talk about Leon. Yes, it was a boring fight, but he had to do what he had to do. I really thought that Leon's emotions were going to get to him. But when I saw him walk out, when I saw him get in the octagon, he looked smooth. He did not look stiff at all. He looked ready. I mean, I'm really impressed with Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards might be here for a while in the welterweight division. I mean, Leon does look like the champ, and I really hope he doesn't try to push to be champ. I mean, he needs to stay here, clean out Bilal, Shavkat, maybe Ian Gary will be there, Vincent Luque, but I mean, Leon Edwards does still have young potential contenders coming up to try to get towards the belt, but Leon Edwards, he is the real deal. I mean, overall, it was a really good card. I just wish the main event could be better. But Leon Edwards, Pantoja, 2 dominant championship wins. I mean, what a card. I wish it was better, but it was still really good. But that caps off 2023. Can't wait to see you guys in 2024, January 13th. It's gonna be it should be pretty good. We got Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Give me Johnny Walker, baby. That's a little preview to 2024, but I will see you guys in 2024. Ligs is out.